Hi folks, this is Double RPG here, and I'm here to present another 2 Cents video on the 2 Cents block for you all. You remember that game called Mario Maker that was shown at E3 this year? Yeah, it looked pretty cool, didn't it? And I know some of you were probably pretty bummed and thinking that those were the only features we're going to get of the game. Well, fear not, because it seems like we're going to be getting a lot more. In a recent interview with US Gamer, Nintendo producer Takashi Tezuka was interviewed, and he talked about there being new content coming for Mario Maker in the future. And this is what he said based on a quote, and what are some of the things that he's going to be bringing about within Mario Maker near the final build. But anyway, this is what he said. Obviously, there will be other graphical styles included, and nothing's been decided yet, but I'd also like to include other graphics that aren't Mario. No, it won't be top-down like Zelda. It's always going to be a 2D platformer. And some of those things that he mentions are like plans to integrate more enemy and object types, and he hopes to include features similar to those of that of Mario Paint, and would like to add a music composition feature. And also, Tezuka says that sharing with friends is really the whole point of making levels, and details on sharing those levels have not yet been made public. Anyway, that's what he talked about in the interview with US Gamer. Now, here's my thoughts on the whole thing, because I really think this is actually pretty cool. So, yeah, I really do believe that this is really smart for knowing that there is more content that's coming for Mario Maker in the future, because what was shown from the E3 build, yeah, it definitely seems like there was not enough. I mean, we got to see a graphic style of the original Super Mario Bros. And that of New Super Mario Bros. U, with some object and a few enemy types, but not a whole lot. But it is really good to know that there are more features that are coming, because the more features that you have in a game, the more that it makes the experience more enjoyable. And what they're doing with Mario Maker, as of right now, it seems like that is a bold step in the right direction. And having features like this can pave the way for newer blood to learn the basics of game development. I know there are independent developers out there, whenever they try to make platform games, they always go for their own stuff, but I know there's some people out there, or some independent developers, who try to follow the same features or the same physics and the same gameplay design as that of the original Super Mario Bros., or even that of the newer Super Mario Bros. Games that's coming out as of right now. And most of the time, even though they're often duplicated, they've never been replicated perfectly. I mean, there's only a few people a few companies that I know that actually have managed to replicate the Mario physics very well, like the Stamper Brothers games with the Donkey Kong Country series, or even those that were developed by Technos Japan, like Double Dragon, River City Ransom, and I think Super Dodgeball of all games, because they had the physics of the original Mario series, where the momentum and the precision jumping and that kind of stuff, they were all very identical. So yeah, this will definitely be a vast improvement to show that newer blood who want to make platformers for themselves, specifically 2D ones, can learn a thing or two based on this game. And this could bring about people's own adventures with their creations, like making their own games, for example, where they can have Mario going through, unique and different levels that were not even present in the original Mario Brothers or original Super Mario Brothers, or even that of New Super Mario Bros. U. I really think that this is going to be the one-way ticket where everybody can create their own thing, their own games based on what is coming about from this, because all we've seen with fan-created games are those of ROM hacks based on, like, the original Super Mario Bros. Or Super Mario Bros. 3, or even those from Super Mario World. I mean, if you want a prime example of some really ridiculous but sometimes awesome Mario ROM hacks, then take a look at Proton John with his back catalog of ROM hacks based on Super Mario World that he's done. So yeah, I think this is going to pave the way to where it could possibly downsize those ROM hacks that we've been seeing online for quite some time. And this could also open the doorway for newer gameplay types for newer games with this premise. I mean, based on like some things that we have not even yet, or that we have not even seen based on the Mario games. Or they could help innovate independent developers with coming up with new ideas for their own platformers and that kind of stuff. And that's something that I also talked about from before. But I also believe that it will attract many more gamers to Nintendo products in the future when they do this kind of stuff. Because when you do something like user-generated content, like what Sony did with Little Big Planet, as well as Little Big Planet 2, that does attract a lot of people with creating their own games and their own unique level levels to where they can actually get people immersed into their own experiences. So I think this is going to be another one-way ticket to help many more gamers, aside from just the Nintendo fans, to, play more Nintendo games down the line. And one thing that I have to say is that they got to make sure that this has to be done right, or this project could end up falling flat because of bad decisions. And that's something that, that a lot of game developers, they need to make sure that they meet fans' expectations, or else, things are just going to fall flat. I mean, I know a lot of people were pretty bummed at Resident Evil 6 because of many of the radical and unethical decisions that Capcom made in making the game more that of Gears of War instead of a survival horror game, which Resident Evil has been well known by. And that's something that I'm also going to be talking about in another video too, but I won't go too far into that. But I just hope Nintendo doesn't take any missteps in doing this. But I do believe that what they're doing with like the music composition feature, as well as some features similar to that of Mario Paint, like recreating game sprites or adding in newer elements to some of those already established sprites and that kind of stuff, or making sprites of their own. I think this is going to be a really good thing in that regard. So hopefully, something like that will actually make it more enjoyable for us to be playing a game like that, to where we can create our own levels and such. And I do have confidence that this will be a great product in 2015. But the only thing that I hope for this game to be is that of a digital game. I can't really see this being a retail game, unless if they plan on adding like a plethora and a boatload of features that we have not seen in Mario Paint into Mario Maker. Then yeah, I could definitely see this being a retail game. I could definitely see this being definitely worthy as a retail game instead of just a digital download. But of course, I know that, retail games are going to also end up as digital downloads anyway. But, if Mario Maker is going to be loaded with lots of content based on what Tezuka is talking about, then yeah, I could definitely see that working out. But whatever it is, I definitely am going to welcome it in open arms. So overall, I really do like what Takashi Tezuka is talking about for Mario Maker, and I definitely think it's going to pave the way for those who actually want to create their own Mario levels officially this time, and they can actually make their own adventures. So Nintendo, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what you have planned for Mario Maker down the line, but hopefully your final product when it comes out next year will actually be a great one that we won't want to miss out on. Anyway guys, that's all I have to say on the matter. So what do you think? Do you like where Mario Maker is going based on what Takashi Tezuka is talking about? Or do you think there are some things that you actually want to see from Mario Maker to actually make it more enjoyable? Be sure to rate this video, as well as leaving your positive and negative feedback down in the comments. Also, be sure to hit that subscribe button underneath the video, because more support from you guys means that more content is coming from me in the future that you won't even find anywhere else. And until next time, this is Double RPG signing off by saying Godspeed and game on, gamers. Have a good one.